Okay, in air fuel cycles there will be some assumptions and there will be some considerations which we already discussed. Okay, so coming to air fuel cycles, this is whatever the standard line is there. Okay, with some okay, whatever the cycle is there, like a straight line, the cycle of 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. This is air standard cycle where all the constant specific heats are going to be constant. Okay, and 1 to 2 dash. Okay, whatever the cycle is there, which is with a dotted line. Okay, see the cycle 1 to 2 dash, 2 dash to 3 dash, 3 dash to 4 dash. Okay, this is the cycle which is going to be based on air fuel cycle. So the standard straight line where there are no dots, those are the cycles which are going to be a standard. Okay, the dotted line, okay, which is going to be having dotted line, that is the air fuel cycle. Okay, so here because of variable specific heats. Okay, in a standard cycle we have considered the temperature is going to be constant, but coming to variable specific heat, that means coming to air fuel cycle we are going to have variable specific heats. Okay, so the specific heats are not going to constant, okay, throughout the cycle, but in a standard cycle we have already assumed that these specific heats are going to be constant. Okay, so that's why because of variable specific heats we are going to get lesser temperature and lesser pressure. Okay, so whatever the temperature developed, with the increase in temperature there will be increase in specific heats. Okay, so here the less temperatures are produced when compared to the air standard cycles. Okay, in air fuel cycles the temperatures which are produced are very less, so here the specific heats are also going to reduce here. Okay, when because of that variable specific heats we are going to draw this cycle. Okay, air fuel cycle, this is dotted line is the line of cycle of air fuel cycle which is going to have variable specific heats. Okay, so we already gone through this air fuel cycle considerations. Okay, we already considered, that means we are going to have actual composition of cylinder gas. Okay, and what is the actual composition? In a air standard cycle we are going to have only air. Okay, but in the actual composition we are going to have fuel, air, water vapor and residual gases we are going to have. So based on this the parameters which we get, that means the pressure and temperature which we get are going to change. Okay, so that's why because of using actual composition of cylinder gases there will be variance in pressure and temperature. Okay, so that variance is this one. Okay, so because of that less pressure and temperature obtained in case of air fuel cycle, the cycle is going to be having some less reduced pressure and temperature. So see how the pressure is reduced from 2 to 2 dash, somewhat there is reduction in pressure and also temperature in case of air fuel cycle because of less power, because of less pressure generated. Okay, because of lower specific heats. Okay, and the fuel mixture, air fuel mixture which we are going to use is not going to attain that much pressure and temperature. Okay, and next one is incomplete combustion. Okay, here within this air fuel cycle there may not be always a complete combustion, but in case of air standard cycle we have assumed that there will be complete combustion, but here in air fuel cycle always there may not be incomplete combustion. And in particular, okay, if the temperature is above 1600 kelvins, okay, if the temperature is around above 1600 kelvins, there would be definitely no complete combustion is there. That means there will be incomplete combustion is going to be there. Okay, which we call that as dissociation also. Okay, if it is complete combustion we will call it as complete combustion. If it is incomplete combustion we can call that as dissociation, nothing but reverse process to complete combustion. That means reverse process to combustion. Okay, so because of that here we are going to have less pressure and temperature. Okay, if the completion is complete then we are going to get high pressure and temperatures. If it is incomplete, okay, it is not going to combust in a full way. So how it is going to behave? That means we are going to get less pressure and temperatures. Okay, so that's why because of incomplete combustion also we are going to get less pressure and temperature. Okay, and next coming to specific heat changes. Okay, I already said there will be specific heat change with temperature. Okay, with the specific heat is nothing but degree raise in temperature. Okay, when there that means if we take a material, okay, how much temperature it will take in that particular time. Okay, in that particular time how much temperature is going to raise. Okay, that is specific heat, and it will changes with the temperatures. That means if there is any raise in temperature, then specific heat is going to increase. Okay, so that is if there is any increase in temperature, definitely there will be increase in specific heat. Okay, but here in a standard cycle, okay, if we assume a standard cycle, there the specific heats are going to be constant throughout the cycle. We have assumed them as constants, but coming to this air fuel cycle, these are not no more constant. These are going to vary with respect to the varying temperature. That means if temperature increases or decreases, specific heat is going to increase or decrease respectively. That means if temperature increases, specific heat increases, and temperature decreases, specific heat is going to decrease. Okay, so the ratio of specific heat means nothing but gamma, where in a standard cycle we have considered that gamma as constant. Okay, why? Because there is no specific heat changes. Okay, but coming to air fuel cycle, it is definitely going to change. Why? Because gamma is nothing but ratio of specific heats, which is gamma is nothing but the specific heat. Okay, that means here specific heat at constant pressure to specific heat at constant volume. So if there is any change in specific heat, definitely or automatically there will be change in gamma. Okay, so this also is going to change, and also number of molecules in cylinder is going to change. Okay, but in case of a standard cycle, what we have considered or what we have assumed there will be no change of molecules. But in case of air fuel cycle, it is going to definitely change with the pressure change in pressure, with the change in pressure and temperature. Okay, so these are the considerations we are going to take in case of air fuel cycle. And coming to assumptions, okay, of course in air fuel cycle also we are going to assume uh, uh, ideal process only. Okay, we are going to assume ideal process only. So what we are going to have because of ideal process, okay, that means we are going to have some assumptions in case of air fuel cycles also. Okay, so what are those assumptions we are going to take in case of air fuel cycles? Okay, that means there is no chemical change in either fuel or air before combustion. That means before combustion, if it is actual cycle, there will be definitely change. Why? Because the air and fuel are going to be at different densities, and different mixtures are going to be there. Okay, but before combustion there will be definitely some change, but that change we are going to assume that as here there is no chemical change. Before combustion there is no chemical change. That means we are going to assume that only. We are going to assume that. Why? Because since it is a process, chemical process, and we are going to assume that there is no chemical reaction between air and fuel before combustion. But actually what is going to happen, there will be definitely there will be some change in chemical reaction. Okay, but we are going to assume in case of air fuel cycle with no change. Okay, that is one assumption in air fuel cycle. And also after combustion, okay, and after combustion also there will be some residual gases or combustion products are there. Okay, that means they are going to be in chemical equilibrium. Okay, but actually is it the same thing? No, actually there will be some imbalance between the chemical equilibrium. Okay, but we are going to assume that. Okay, but we are going, in case of air fuel cycle, we are going to assume there will be chemical equilibrium. That means the whatever the mixture we have, that is going to be in chemical equilibrium. Okay, but actual case, okay, whenever we go for actual case, it is not in chemical equilibrium. Okay, but we are going to assume that in case of air fuel cycle as a combustion mixture or the gaseous mixture which is produced is going to be in chemical equilibrium also. Okay, and there is no heat transfer. Okay, this is another assumption. That means there will be no heat loss. Okay, here we are going to assume that there will be no heat loss. That means heat transfer is not going to be done between gases and cylinder walls in any process. Okay, that means any process means reverse isentropic compression and isentropic expansion is there now. So in that process we are going to assume there will be no heat transfer. Okay, but actually definitely if there are two metals and they are at different temperatures, there will be automatically there will be heat transfer. But here in case of air fuel cycle, we are going to assume heat transfer is not going to be there. Okay, if it is air fuel cycle, but actually it will be there, but we are going to assume no heat transfer. And also these are going to be frictionless. Okay, compression and expansion process are going to be frictionless. Okay, because of friction there will be several losses. Okay, almost some 8 to 10% of losses are because of friction only. Okay, so these losses are also neglected in case of air fuel cycles. Okay, but actually there will be some frictional losses also because of frictional losses. So there may be some variance in case of efficiency and all those. Okay, so during expansion and compression we are going to have friction. We are not going to consider frictional losses. Okay, and also we are going to consider the velocities very small. Okay, but in actual case they are going to be varied. Okay, along with the speed of the engine. Okay, the velocities are going to change, but here we are going to consider those changes are negligible. Okay, and also combustion takes place instantaneously at top dead center. Okay, this is also an assumption in case of a standard cycle, but in case of actual cycle it is not going to take place instantaneously. That means there we are in actual cycles we are going to have progressive combustion. Okay, that means it is not going to happen instantaneously at top dead center, but in case of air fuel cycle we are going to have instantaneous combustion, which is not at all possible in a actual engine. Okay, so that's why we are going to assume all these. Okay, so these are the assumptions which we are going to consider mainly in case of air fuel cycle. So what is a standard cycle? Purely based on assumptions. Okay, and what is air fuel cycle? Some of the assumptions are there and some of the considerations are there, regarding to which we are going to consider according to air fuel medium. That means whatever the medium we are going to use in the cycle, regarding that we are going to take actual thing. Okay, and what we are going to assume? We are going to assume the losses are going to be neglected here. Okay, so and also some chemical reactions before and after combustion, and also combustion is going to take place instantaneously. Okay, so these are the assumptions in case of air fuel cycle. This is a clear cut. Okay, and some of the advantages. Okay, in case if we take air fuel cycle, what we can analyze. Okay, so if it is a standard cycle, we can analyze only with the help of compression ratio only. Why? Because there are no other parameters to analyze. Okay, so when coming to air fuel cycle, we have an basic advantage of analyzing on several different things, like effect of compression ratio. Okay, what if compression ratio changes, what is going to happen for the air fuel mixture? Okay, we will do that in a standard cycle also, but it is based on the air only, which is not going to get a perfect analysis. Okay, why? Because it is in a standard cycle we are going to have all assumptions, and because of all those assumptions we are going to get higher CRs and higher efficiency, higher power. But here and also we are going to do analysis on air only, but in actual case we are going to use air fuel mixture. Okay, so if we want to analyze on air fuel mixture, okay, that is not possible in case of air standard cycle. So we definitely we should move for air fuel cycles. Okay, so if we have used air fuel cycles, then we have an advantage of analyzing on different parameters like compression ratio, fuel air ratio. Okay, why we need to have some idea on fuel air ratio? Why? Because it will decide the engine speed. Okay, depending on the requirement of engine speed only, this amount of fuel air is going to take into the combustion chamber. Okay, so for suppose we need to move at low speeds. Okay, then we need one type of fuel air ratio mixture. Okay, and if we want to run the vehicle at high speeds, then we need to take another amount of fuel air mixture. Okay, so here the speed of the engine decides the amount of fuel air requirement. Okay, so that's why to have analysis on this air fuel cycle will help us to analyze in the thing of fuel air ratio. Okay, and also here inlet pressure and temperature also plays very major important role. Why? Because inlet pressure and temperature itself decides the breathing capacity, nothing but volumetric efficiency of the engine. Okay, so depending upon if volumetric efficiency is high, then thermal efficiency and brake efficiency are going to be high. So here the pressure which are going to come into the combustion chamber, okay, that pressure of air and fuel, or air in case of SA engine and CA engine respectively, is going to have some impact on power developed and efficiency. Okay, so how means, I will say, okay, if the pressure at the inlet is 2 bar, okay, in the actual engine, so it is going to be 1 bar. Okay, so we need more power to compress to 40 bar. Okay, but if it pressurized, that means if it compressed before coming to the combustion chamber, that means if the inlet pressure is around 5 bar, okay, so here how much is the peak pressure? 40 bar. Let us consider 40 bar. Okay, in if inlet pressure is 2 bar, okay, then we need to do more work to reach the pressure to 40 bar. Okay, if inlet pressure is 5 bar, okay, then we need to give some lower inputs, okay, to the peak pressure however needed is 40 bar only, but here before coming to the combustion chamber only it is going to 5 bar. Now how much we need to attain? Only 35 bar. Okay, so because of that, what we need to do, we are already compressing the air before coming into the combustion chamber only. So here for the piston, okay, to compress that air fuel mixture is going to have lesser work input. That means we need to do less work in the case of piston. Okay, so because of that, here total work output is going to increase. Okay, why? Because total work total work output or net work output is nothing but work output minus work input. Okay, whatever the total work output is there, so here we are going to decrease the work input, so automatically we are going to get higher work output. Net work output we are going to get higher. Why? Because here input is reducing na. So net work output is nothing but work output minus work input. Input we are going to reduce here. Okay, by pressurizing before coming to the combustion chamber only. So we need, so that we are going to improve the network output. Okay, totally network output is available in more. Okay, so that's why depending upon the inlet pressure and temperature also, we can analyze on that. Okay, based on these parameters also in case of air fuel cycles also. And here we are going to take or consider specific heats are going to vary. Okay, so because of that variance, the actual pressure and temperature range we can see, we can analyze. Okay, whatever the actual specific heat is there, we can analyze in case of air fuel cycle. Okay, so that is the advantage of this air fuel cycles. And also the fuel air ratio changes during the engine operation. I already said this to you. Okay, because of engine's requirement, that means engine speed, we are going to change the fuel air ratio. Okay, why? Because depending upon engine requirement, that much amount only we are going to send, otherwise there will be fuel wastage. Okay, for a low speed engine operation also, if we send more fuel, more amount of fuel air mixture, then there may be wastage of fuel which will lead to lesser mileage. Okay, so that's why we are going to operate fuel air ratio regularly according to the engine speed. Okay, otherwise there may be lot of fuel losses. That means fuel consumption is going to be more if we use the same amount of fuel for every engine speed. Okay, so we need to change the air fuel ratio according to the engine speed. Okay, and that is done by the carburetor in case of SA engine and fuel injector in the case of CI engine. Okay, how much amount of fuel is to be injected is going to be decided by different devices in different engines like SA and CI engines. Okay, and change in air fuel ratio also affects the composition of gases before and after combustion also. Okay, the percentage of CO2, that means exhaust gases what we have like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water, this H2O is going to be in gaseous state. Okay, why? Because it is going to be around temperatures of 1500 Kelvin, 1600, 3000 Kelvin also sometimes may be available. So at the temperatures, it is going to be in vapor form. Okay, gaseous form, water. Okay, in the exhaust gas. So depending upon if we change the air fuel ratio, automatically the exhaust, okay, exhaust gases which are there, those are going to vary. Okay, that means this carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide percentages, okay, these are not going to be the same throughout the engine operation. They are going to change according to the air fuel ratio. How air fuel ratio is going to change? depending upon the engine speeds, nothing but engine operation. Okay, so depending on that, this mixture, the percentages of all these components are also going to vary. Okay, that, and that also we can analyze, which is an advantages in case of air fuel cycle. We can take an analysis regarding that also. Okay, which is a very important factor, and by knowing that we can improve the engine performance. Okay, for suppose for particular air fuel mixture, this much emissions are coming. Okay, we need to reduce. Okay, depending on that reduction of emissions, we need to set the accurate fuel air ratio. Okay, so that we can improve the emissions. Okay, so next, the amount of, that is the thing, and next coming to amount of exhaust gases in the clearance volume. Okay, see, I already said you, there is not much time available for the exhaust gases to leave from the cylinder. Okay, for a high speed engines. Okay, so what happens, some of the gases are going to remain within the clearance volume only. Okay, so there is a chance of mixing of this clearance volume gases, that means residual gases, with the fresh gases. Okay, whatever the, okay, one cycle is completed, so second cycle has to begin. Okay, why? Because this is a repeated cycle. If one cycle, that means exhaust stroke is completed, automatically next the suction stroke is going to repeat. Okay, so during this, what happens, some of the gases are going to be left in the, or to remain in the combustion chamber or in the clearance volume, and the fresh charge is going to get into the combustion chamber. So there may be chances of mixing of this fresh charge and residual gases. Okay, so what happens automatically, because of impurities within the residual gases, what happens automatically, there may be some ash content also. Okay, because of that ash content, there may be no complete combustion, which reduces the peak pressure and temperature. So if peak pressure and temperature reduces, automatically, which is going to depend on this work done, and efficiency are also reduces. Okay, so that's why, because of that also, we are going to analyze. Okay, we are going to set, we have seen a wall timing and a port timing diagram, right? Okay, so we need to set according to this clearance gases. Okay, so that we need to leave it for more time. Okay, to allow to give time for the gases leave into the atmosphere. Okay, so we are going to provide some time for these gases. Okay, and we need to set according to the speed of the engine. Okay, when the exhaust valve has to open, we already seen the diagram. Okay, so for every engine there may be some changes. Okay, because of the changes, we also need to change the valve timing and port timing diagrams. Okay, so that's why we can analyze and we can perfect or improve the performance of engine. Okay, that is the point. And fresh charge composition, same, these 2 points are same. Fresh charge composition varies its composition because when it enters in the cylinder, comes in contact with the burn gases. Burn gases are nothing but the combustion gases which are going to be in the clearance volume after the exhaust stroke also. Okay, so those are the advantages or some of the key points in case of air fuel cycles. Okay, so I have discussed because of this there will be reduced temperature and all this. Okay, so with the reduction in temperature, okay, how this specific heats are going to reduce, we will see now. Okay, so majorly here we are going to analyze basically on 2 different things. One is specific heats. Mainly we have several things we are going to concentrate on 4 main things. One is variable specific heats, and another one is dissociation. Okay, another one is effect on number of moles and effect of operating variables. Okay, so these are the different things we have. Okay, first of all, coming to variable specific heats, that means why we are going to get very less pressure and temperature in case of air fuel cycle. Okay, see here, first of all, specific heat is going to be, this is the definition of specific heat. Okay, nothing but amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 degree, water by 1 degree. Okay, here water means if we take water, that is the raise in temperature of that water. If we take any mixture, okay, for suppose we are going to consider air fuel mixture. Okay, so now what is specific heat of air fuel mixture? It is nothing but the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of air fuel mixture, okay, by 1 degree. Okay, that is the specific heat. Okay, generally all the gases will increase its specific heats with the rise in temperature, but except for monoatomic gases. Okay, for monoatomic gases it is not going to increase. Okay, but for other gases except monoatomic gases, all the gases are going to increase their specific heats with the increase in temperature. Okay, so that is the thing in case of normal gases. Okay, and these organic gases which are going to have like helium, neon, argon, and for krypton, xenon, and radon, these are not going to increase their specific heat with the increase in temperature. Okay, but all the other gases definitely will increase their specific heats accordingly. Okay, but there may be change in increase. Okay, there may be change in increase with respect to gas. Okay, but definitely there will be increase in specific heat with respect to the increase in temperature. Okay, see here, this is the Cp increase, how Cp value, that means specific heat at a constant pressure is going to increase, and this is how specific heat at a constant volume is going to increase. Okay, see this is the temperature. On x-axis we have taken temperature, and y-axis we have taken specific heat. That means with the increase in temperature, how specific heat is going to increase, the graph is going to represent very clearly. See, first of all, there will be temperature of 250 Kelvin like that. Okay, and how much raise is there? Below 0.5. Okay, if the temperature is raised to 500 degrees, okay, 500 Kelvin, how the specific heat changed? It is somewhat increased. See, there is increase in specific heat with the temperature. If it is 500, this is Cp value. Okay, this is the line of constant pressure. Okay, specific heat at constant pressure, and this is the line of specific heat at constant volume. Okay, both are going to increase. Okay, at 500 it is going to be somewhat around 0.7 0.8 like that, and how much is Cp? 1.5 around like that is there. Okay, if the temperature raised to 1000, see how Cv value is there. It is above 1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, and Cp it is around 1.9 like that, 1.9 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So if it is 1500, if the temperature raised to 1500, the specific heats also increase to according to their pressure and volume. Okay, this is a specific heat value at constant pressure, and this is specific heat value at constant volume. Okay, if it is raised, if the temperature raised to 2000 degrees for a air-filled mixture, okay, see how the mixture, how the Cv increased. It is around 1.25 like that. Okay, and Cp value is around 2.5. So it is going to have several parameters, and we are going to have several equations based on that. It is not going to follow such equations, but in a less possible way, we have in a less possible way, we have generated some formulas how these specific heat is going to vary along with the according to the increase in temperature. Okay, see, we can see clearly with the rise in temperature, the specific heat is also increasing. Either it may be a specific heat at constant pressure or specific heat at constant volume. Both the specific heats are going to increase with the increase in temperature. Okay, coming to this, there is no such no particular law is there. Okay, that means if temperature raises, this much of specific heat is going to increase. Particular law is not there, but if it is, we are going to assume in such a manner which is somewhat nearby. Okay, they doesn't follow these laws, but we are going to assume, that means it is somewhat nearer to this law. Okay, this is the law which is going to increase in according to the increase in temperature. Okay, and but this is going to follow merely only. Okay, not to the full extent. So at somewhat it is nearer to that. Okay, that means according to this law, somewhat nearer to this, the specific heats are going to vary. Okay, so if with the rise in temperature, the values are going to increase, like Cp and Cv are going to increase according to this law, where A1, B1, K1 are going to be constants. Okay, and it also depends on temperature. Okay, if the temperature raises from 300 to 500 Kelvin, okay, then it is going to follow merely this law. Okay, Cp is going to follow this law, and Cv is going to be followed by this law. Okay, and R we already know characteristic Gauss constant, which is a difference of specific heats, nothing but specific heat at constant pressure minus specific heat at constant volume. these two as these two parameters are same, we can also take R value from A1 minus B1, nothing but Cp minus Cv. Okay, finally we will get A1 minus B1 only. Why? Because K1 minus T, K1 T minus K1 T will cancel, and we have A1 minus B1 only. Okay, so we can get a characteristic gas constant by for any mixture or for any gas or for any liquid. We can for any gas we can get R value in this way also. Okay, and if it is around above 500 kelvins, okay, then it is going to follow this law. Okay, Cp is equal to A plus K1T plus K2 KT square, and if it is Cv, B1 plus K1T plus K2 T square, and where A1, B1, K1, here we have K1, it is not shown in Cp. Actually, there is K1 and here K2. Okay, and the K1 and the K2 are going to be constants here. Okay, so here also we can get R value like nothing but Cp minus Cv, which has A1 minus B1, where these two parameters are same. So that it depends on mainly A1 and B1 values only. Okay, so if it is more than 3000 Kelvin, okay, about 1500 Kelvin, and if it is more than 2000 Kelvin, the degree or order of this equation is going to increase. Okay, for suppose it is second order, if it is more than 3000 Kelvin, around 2000 Kelvin or like that, then the third order equation is going to get, then we have to get K1 K3 T cube we will get. Okay, third order equation. Okay, and also for Cv also, and if the temperature is further raised, that means around 2500 Kelvin, 3000 Kelvin, then the equation is going to be fourth order equation. Okay, if the temperature is more, furthermore, then we have up to sixth order equation, we can accumulate this formula. That means this formula is merely follow, it can follow this law. Okay, up to sixth order. That means if with the raise in temperature, this equation also going to change. Okay, like for third for around 2000 Kelvin, we will get third order equation. For around 2500 Kelvin, we will get a fourth order equation like that. Okay, we are under that's why the temperature raise leads to the increase in specific heats. So if there is any temperature change, the specific heat is definitely going to change. Okay, and how this gamma is going to vary? Of course, if there is any raise in Cp or Cv, definitely this gamma is going to vary. Why? Because it is a ratio of Cp by Cv. Okay, anything changes in between Cp and Cv, definitely there will be change in gamma. Okay, so that is about variable specific heat, nothing but which is in a standard cycle we have assumed that as constant, but here we have to take effectively. That means if there is any change in temperature, definitely there will be change in specific heats. Okay, that we need to understand. And next, coming to the effect of dissociation. I already said what is dissociation. It is nothing but the incomplete combustion. Okay, nothing but reverse process to combustion. There may be no complete combustion is there. Okay, so that process we call it as dissociation. And because of dissociation, how this pressure and temperature are going to reduce. Okay, that we will see now. Okay, see, we already know that disintegration of combustion products at it will happen at higher temperatures, around 1500 Kelvin, 1500 Kelvin, 2000 Kelvin. At that temperatures, there will be definitely dissociation is going to happen. Okay, and it is, what is dissociation? Nothing but reverse process to combustion, nothing but incomplete combustion. Because of very high temperatures, there may be no such attainment of present temperature. Okay, because of incomplete combustion. Why? Because see how it is going to vary, the pressure and temperature, how they are going to vary. We can see here what is lean mixture, stoichiometric mixture, and rich mixture. Okay, coming to stoichiometric mixture, there will be sufficient oxygen or sufficient fuel for a complete combustion. Okay, now what is stoichiometric ratio? Stoichiometric ratio is 1:15. Okay, that means what is 1:15? What is this ratio? Nothing but to